Hi, my name is Kelly, and today we're going to be talking about Wells Fargo's unauthorized accounts scandal and what ethical issues were at play from a public relations standpoint. The Wells Fargo ethical issue first gained national attention when it was revealed that workers created millions of bank accounts and credit cards without customers' acknowledge or consent. Employees were under pressure to meet aggressive sales and cross-selling quotas. To meet the quotas, some employees opened up accounts that customers didn't request and lied about customer information. As a result of this practice, Wells Fargo was fined $100 million by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in 2016. They also faced penalties from several other agencies. I think the key ethical issue in this situation was honesty and trust. Customers entrusted Wells Fargo with their personal information and their money. The bank violated that trust by deceiving customers about accounts that were opened in their names. I also think Wells Fargo mishandled the situation by getting too defensive. They took too long to own up to their mistakes. What I learned from this case is public relation professionals should have strong ethical values, not just good communication skills. During a crisis, we'll be called upon to make ethical decisions that can impact our organization. Looking at this from a PR standpoint, there are several Christian principles that deal with ethical conduct. The PSR conduct of ethical starts with honesty and advocacy. Professionals from an obligation to communicate truth and persuasion and always consider the public interest. If we look at my Christian worldview, there's another layer to our obligation and obligation as communicators. In Mark 12:31, we are told to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Apply this to Wells Fargo. The customers should be treated like neighbors instead of seeing them as dollar signs to meet sales quota. They should also have been treated with honesty, respect, and fairness. Something else important to Christianity is compassion. If I were working in PR for Wells Fargo during this time, I would encourage them to be compassionate. The first thing I would want them to do is apologize and acknowledge how customers may have been affected. The first thing they wanted to know is how to protect their brand. Jesus also commanded us to act justly. In Micah 6:8, we're told to act justly and love mercy. To me, acting justly means setting things right and something has gone wrong. Setting things right when something goes wrong. In order for Wells Fargo to act justly, they would have to be honest with customers about what happened. They should refund any improper fees that were charged to the customer and reevaluate their sales practice to prevent more ethical behaviors. This ties in with something I learned at GCU about integrating faith and work. Don't separate faith as something you only bring to work. For values should impact how you work professionally. As a PR professional, if leaders try to pressure me to hide the truth, I would stand up for what's right. Protecting an organization reputation will never involve lying to the public. In most cases, being transparent and honest will resolve in the long run. Unfortunately, Wells Fargo's response to the scandal led to reputation damage, government investigation, financial support, and loss of trust from the public. The company's CEO, John Stumpf, resigned after the scandal was made public and during a congressional hearing. That's interesting. If I were to handle this situation as a Christian, I would have done several things. Number one, Wells Fargo should have practiced honest disclosures. Leadership should have admitted what happened, and explained in the public. Instead of holding behind the issue of blaming low-level employees, they should accept responsibilities. Two, the company should have focused on making things right with the customer. Any customer who lost money should have been offered refunds and assistance with fixing their accounts. From a Christian's perspective, this is justice because we're restoring things how they should have been. 3, changing the company's culture to prevent something like this from happening again. Employees should not be rewarded for unethical behavior to meet unethical sales goals. Leadership should always set the tone by prioritizing the customer instead of trying to upsell every customer who walks in the window. Employees should be focused on how to best serve the customer. The Wells Fargo scandal is a perfect example of why ethics matter in public relations. You cannot have a good reputation if your organization does not walk the walk. Public relations professionals should always allow our values to guide our walk. As Christians, we should let our values of love, compassion, honesty, and justice and accountability lead us when facing an ethical dilemma. When our organizations make a mistake, we have an opportunity to counsel our leadership to do what's right. That means telling the truth, accepting responsibility, and making it right, and restoring trust.